I have been wanting to make this video for a long time, but I didn't want to come off like I was complaining, and I also felt kind of ashamed to even like publicly share something like this. And now even just talking to you all about it, my heart is like pounding and I'm getting really nervous, but I do feel like this conversation has to be had, especially for folks who work in digital marketing and copy and content like I was doing for the past 7 years. So if you are new here, hi, my name is Cassandra and I create videos on productivity, journaling, and the occasional travel and living abroad vlog. And before I was even doing any sort of YouTube, for the past 7 years, I have been working in digital marketing. Specifically, I ran a micro agency called the Quirky Pineapple Studio, which was a media and marketing agency for small businesses, thought leaders, and organizations. And I had been running that business from the end of 2017 until right now, as I am talking to you all. As in, like right now, it's still going and I still have clients, but this may change very soon. And for the past, I would say, I guess since 2023, the business has not been the same. And I really think that for me, my business was heavily impacted by AI. Now, before I dive into all of that stuff, like I am not bashing anybody who uses AI. I am not saying that AI can't do a lot of the things that my business used to do or does. It can be a really, really powerful tool for building out campaigns and brainstorming different marketing assets and even giving you kind of like a full-blown like marketing campaign from pre-launch, launch to post-launch, or even figuring out so many other moving pieces. Now that is so true, and not bashing anybody who uses it and anybody who has learned to give it really great prompts. I just really want to share that AI totally kind of flipped my business upside down, and it started back in, I would say, I started feeling it in February 2023, and it wasn't until actually like 2 months later in April 2023 when I was like, holy shit, AI is taking over my job. Now, I will say that I think it was like a combination, especially for me, like my specific case with my business and just the types of clients that we served. So the Quirky Pineapple Studio specifically worked with a lot of clients within the social impact space and who are mission driven. That being said, specifically the niche that we serviced a lot were folks who were DEI, so diversity, equity, inclusion consultants, or agencies, firms, things like that. And also the DEI adjacent types of businesses, coaches, and consultants. So that could look like leadership coaches and consultants, cultural intelligence folks, people who come in to actually do like pure DEI work, or anything related to DEI that kind of like either encompassed the whole thing or was like a direct bit of DEI. And a lot of my clients were also from the United States. And I think back in 2023, that's when a lot of the laws started coming out in the United States to start cutting DEI efforts from larger corporations, which were the clients that my clients had. And because of that, a lot of my clients let us go. And also, I think because of the rise of AI around April 2023, like I mentioned before, just like the culmination of all those things, one, DEI kind of getting cut from larger corporations. So contracts and like budgeting was being cut from my clients. And then the rise of AI also replacing a lot of the work that me and my team used to do. That just kind of like blew up meshed together and then blew up in my face. And I was really like delusional and hanging on, trying to like talk myself out of it and just tell myself, no, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better, don't worry. But that was not the case. And I think because I was hanging on to just how business was and like the success that I was used to having and the success that I had for the past like 2 to 3 years prior, before 2023, I would not let this go. And I don't think I adapted as fast as I should have, or figured out a new type of service, or buckled down on like a really specific part of my services or anything like that. So I ended up kind of just hanging on and hoping for the best when I saw that AI was truly not only impacting like my direct work. So a lot of our contracts ended, our clients decided not to renew, and they were opting in to more like marketing content and marketing campaigns created by AI. It was also the quality of the leads that came in that year as well. So like I mentioned, I started the business back in 2017, at the end of 2017, and I have done so many sales calls. I've done sales calls for small like educational bits of my business where I was doing more like marketing coaching and I was teaching people how to do marketing for themselves. And then I did like larger sales calls, and these are more for contracts, maybe 3, 6 month, 1 year contracts with small business owners, or even like medium-sized businesses with teams of 4 to 5 to maybe 10 people to outsource their marketing to us. And these contracts ranged anywhere from like 5,000 euros to maybe a lump sum of 20,000 euros broken down into like monthly payments. And I was so used to sales calls. Like when I first started my business, I was like terrified of them. And gradually, of course, as I gained confidence and I got really clear on, what we could do to help our clients, I was very clear on the problems that they were having, how our services fit into that, and how we could really help them, that I was like, you know what? I know when a sales call is not a good fit. Because after you've been doing this for a while, you just have like a gut feeling that, okay, we're not aligned. This is not something that we do. They're looking for something else. And you just kind of send them other referrals and you kind of move on. And then also you have sales calls that you're like, oh, this is like an awesome fit and this is totally up my alley. I can do this. And I started getting really good at closing sales calls. I think at like the Quirky Pineapple Studios Prime, our sales calls like close rate was probably around like 70 to 75% closing rate, which I don't know. Maybe I should have looked this up and asked AI prior to this, like recording this video, but I don't know what a like great closing rate is, but I would say 75%, pretty good. But in 2023, when AI started picking up steam and becoming more popular, I started noticing that a lot of the sales calls I was having were not with quality leads anymore. They were with not saying that like the person that I was getting on the sales call with was not a quality person. It was just not a quality lead, because I just started noticing that like instead of getting on sales calls with folks and kind of just talking to them and really it being like a vibe check for both of us to kind of see, oh, do we like each other? Can we create like a working relationship? A lot of the sales calls kind of turned into, I'm going to try and negotiate your packages. And I am basically going to try and like meal piece together what I want to get the cheapest rate possible. That is totally fine. Everybody is entitled to the budget that they have and what works for them. And, if they are looking for specific things that I just don't offer, totally fine. But I really started noticing that the sales calls that I was having were with people who were meal piecing like my packages to put together something that worked for them, which didn't work for me. And they were telling me that their marketing budgets were basically slashed in half from what I was pricing myself at. And I looked at my rates. I compared my rates to like micro agencies in the United States. I compared my rates to micro agencies here in Spain and in Europe. And my rates for the Quirky Pineapple Studio were quite competitive. They were not too high, I believe, and they were also not too low. I think they were like kind of in the middle. And a lot of the people I saw had marketing rates or marketing budgets when AI came about that were like, I would say either cut in half from what I was charging or even lower than that. And they still expected the same amount of work, or if they didn't expect the same amount of work, they had totally different expectations on what content marketing or marketing could do for them, especially if it was just like organic marketing. Like I just saw people have these extremely high expectations and lots of expectations on like virality and quick growth just with organic content, which if you are a marketer and you're watching this, you all know that organic content just doesn't perform the same way anymore, especially now with like even more AI content thrown in the mix. But I noticed that one, expectations were completely misaligned. Like folks wanted viral content immediately. They wanted quick sales immediately. And also the amount of work that they wanted with the budget that they were willing to pay was totally misaligned. I know a lot of people were thinking, okay, just use AI to repurpose a lot of the content, reshare it across channels. It doesn't really matter. I don't care about building like a strategy, ask AI to do it. All of these things came up in these sales calls, and I think that was really shocking for me and also alarming because as somebody who's been in the industry now for 7+ years, and I've been working in content marketing for as young as like 13, like y'all, I was creating content on Zynga and MySpace when I was 13 years old. So I know about all of these platforms, and I would say I kind of know how the algorithms work and stuff. This was wild. Like I had never seen anything like that. And I just started to see that my job was starting to become obsolete thanks to artificial intelligence. And I think because of that, it shocked me. And then I also had even more resistance to figure out what the pivot was or how we could incorporate more of AI into the types of services that we offer. Honestly, if you have been also impacted by AI and like you're a marketer or you're a copywriter, content marketer, let me know in the comments how this has impacted you. Like I've read so many different things online. I've talked to other marketers, and some people are like, no, I totally pivoted and I switched up my strategy and I like dove deep into this specific thing, or they adapted and started using AI more in their processes and talking about it with clients. And maybe I just didn't adapt fast enough, or maybe it was like a blessing in disguise because I started realizing like how old was I? 30, 31 maybe. And I think at that point I was like, do I want to be creating content, like social media content for clients when I'm 40 years old? Do I really want to be pinging clients and reminding clients, hey, don't forget to send me these deliverables, because if you don't send me them, like me and my team cannot create the content to actually schedule out and publish. And I just kept thinking about that, and I think that mixed with the fact that AI was taking over my marketing job, and then this culmination of, is this really what I want to be doing in 10 years when I'm 40 years old? And then also the feeling of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I am doing this right. I felt ashamed because I didn't pivot fast enough. I felt ashamed because I didn't adapt. So my business was failing, which then meant my confidence was going down. And when I got on sales calls, I wasn't confident about the value that we offered anymore. I was like self-doubting and guessing myself. And there were just so many, I think, layers to this. It's not just like AI took my job, which It kind of did. But I think because of just like the trickling down of all of these things happening at the same time, I was just like, what the heck? And where do I go from here? Which I understand is like, I guess, a blessing in disguise, right? Like I had the opportunity to like pause and be like, okay, what do I want to do now? Like, where do I want to go with this? Am I going to let AI really take over and like take over my business and, you know, kick me out of my own business and totally turn my services and my job obsolete? I don't know. I talked to other agency owners who were like, oh, you know, I've been in business for like 10 years, 15 years, and I have never seen things happen this badly. Or, you know, we've all seen waves and stuff, but like the marketing industry right now is just wild. So I guess what happened next was I took an adult gap year in 2024. I paused the business and worked with clients here and there. And then I just traveled, got really curious. I did lots of hobbies, did lots of things. And then now that I'm coming out of it and I'm realizing, oh, maybe AI really did take my job. What the heck do I do now? Now that I am sitting here recording this and kind of like processed all of my feelings around AI and what it has done to me and my business, or maybe what I have done to myself and my business, I don't know. I don't want to blame AI entirely because maybe this is just what happens. Like things happen and this is why adapting in your business is so important, or, you know, businesses have specific cycles and maybe this is just the cycle that my business is supposed to have. I don't know. Maybe this is like a digital slap in the face for me to figure out what I actually want to do or pivot into something else that it brings me more joy. Not totally sure. We're still in that like figuring it out process, because if you watched previous videos of mine, I have been applying to some part-time jobs, some full-time jobs, some freelance work, and we are just figuring it out as we go. I'm not totally sure what to do from here. All I know is that AI really like rocked my business. And by the end of 2024, I went from, actually, what happened? Okay, when we started 2023, the business was set to scale and I was looking to hire potentially 2 more writers to my team. I already had a team of 4. So it was me, my partner who were full-time, and then I had a contractor who had been with me for about 3-ish years, I believe, at that time. And then I had 2 other contractors who would come in to help with additional client work. With that, in the beginning of 2023, I thought, okay, we are going to almost double what we are doing. So I was looking to potentially hire 2 additional copywriters to help me with client work. And we started out the year with 8 clients with contracts for 6 months. Some who were like finishing their 3-month or 6-month contract in the beginning of the year and were going to renew again for another 6 months. And by April of 2023, we went down from 8 to 4 clients, which is wild. That's like literally half. It is half. Well, not even literally. It's just half. And then in, I think, June or July of 2023, we went from 4 clients on retainer to 2 clients. And then by August, we had, I think, only 1 retainer client and maybe like 1 or 2 projects here and there. So that was like a really fast change. I think I did not pivot fast enough and I was just like in shock, didn't know what to do. My head was just like, holy crap, where do we go from here? And because of that, 2024 just ended up being like a really stagnant year for work and for everything else. Like I said, I took an adult gap year. And now that I've processed through all of these things and don't feel so resentful towards AI anymore, I think I have like a better idea and I feel like more confident in the work I do as a marketer and as a creator and a copywriter, brand strategist, and content marketer and all of that stuff. and how AI kind of fits into that, because I think before, when I was on these sales calls, like I was telling you all, my confidence level was just at an all-time low. And I think because there were so many people kind of trying to negotiate and like haggle with a lot of the services that I provided, and haggle and negotiate and kind of like, what is the word in English? In Spanish, it's regatear. Maybe that's negotiate. Maybe. But they basically tried to cut my prices down and say, no, I just want this, I want this. And they really tried to meal piece things. And I just didn't know how to like completely defend myself. Or also I got really tired of defending like my work and my team's work all the time in these sales calls. So now that I feel a lot better about that, I don't blame AI entirely for taking over my job. And I'm actually kind of grateful, I guess. Can I say that? I guess I am grateful a little bit that AI did take over my job, because it kind of forced me to really get honest with myself and figure out, is this what I want to be doing for the next 10 years? Do I want to be creating content like this for the next 10 years and running this type of business in the way that it is set up? And the honest answer was no, I did not. I did not want to be creating content like I was for my clients for the next 10 years until I was 40. I did not want to be running the business like I was, even though at one point it was really successful and then it became not successful. And I just did not want to be doing that for the next 10 years. So I guess thank you, AI, for kind of blowing shit up, blowing my business up. Thanks a lot. And also thanks a lot because it really helped me to pause and figure out what is the next step for me, what is the next step for my business, the Quirky Pineapple Studio, and where do we go from here? You'll have to check the next video because I'll be recording that next. So don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can get the notification when the next video goes out about what I'm doing with the Quirky Pineapple Studio, my marketing and media agency. But anyways, I would love to know. This was like just like a chatty video because I just needed to get this off my chest, and I was like, do I say this out loud? I don't know. I want to be really positive and I want to like be hopeful that this was great, like a great thing, and I am happy that it happened. And also, truthfully, it really fucking sucked. Having AI take over and then also trying to defend the value of your work and how your work is different, like human developed marketing strategies, content, copy, is so different than AI developed strategy, content, and copy. And defending that day in and day out for 2 years on sales calls, and people just kind of like saying, no, 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 and totally lowballing you for the work that you provide and also the experience that you have and all of the other things that go into account when it comes to marketing, really fucking sucked. So if AI has also impacted you and your business, or if you are a marketer in your work in any type of way, I would love to know. This is not meant to be like a complaining rant video. I just really wanted to share like what actually happened and my headspace for it. So that's that. I think that's it. I have nothing else to say because I feel like I will just be repeating myself over and over again. Yay that I got over the resentment I felt towards AI. Boo that AI took over my job, but yay, I figured out what I want to do next, and I feel a lot more at peace with that decision and happier that I guess what was inevitably going to happen was just, what is the word? What was inevitably going to happen was just accelerated because AI took off so quickly. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. Let me know in the comments how AI has impacted you, if it has in any way or if it's not. And don't forget to like, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. That's like. And I will see you all in the next video. Ciao.